Good evening, viewers. Uh, we all have been shattered and heartbroken by the brutal killing of our soldiers in the Galwan Valley in Ladakh, and that has led to the martyrdom of our 20 valiant soldiers. However, our soldiers gave a bloody nose to the Chinese and made them pay for their misadventure in our territory. With me is Colonel Austin Colasso, Lieutenant Colonel Austin Colasso, who is a Kargil war veteran and belongs to the gallant Bihar regiment, whose soldiers were involved in hitting back at the Chinese for their misadventure in Indian territory. He is going to tell us what makes the Bihar regiment so special and what drove these soldiers to give back in kind to the Chinese soldiers who try to fiddle with our prestige. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome to Uncovering India's inaugural discussion.
Thank you.
We all have been extremely moved and heartbroken by what happened at the Galwan Valley and how our soldiers were taken aback by Chinese soldiers who were waiting to hit at us. So, what exactly is your analysis? What happened and how could we lose 20 soldiers on the Chinese border?
Correct. Yeah, what has happened in Galwan sector is basically you all are aware, well, must have read about and seen a lot of it on TV and the media also. We had basically a patrol going over there. Basically, 16 BR is deployed in the Galwan sector, which is basically a plateau area over there. And as per whatever we can recollect and what has been told to us, it's a question of the demarcation of the LAC in that area. Whereas their perception is that it is up to finger 8. Whereas, we are under the perception that it is up to finger 8. Whereas the Chinese perception is that it is up to finger 4. So between finger 4 and finger 8, where the normal regular patrolling goes on, it's about a distance about 8 kilometers. And in between over there comes the point called PP 14. So that's where exactly, after a lot of talks and diplomatic talks that are taking place, both parties are agreed to fall back a couple of kilometers, 2 to 3 kilometers beyond the LAC that is there. And that's when it happened. And on the 15th-16th night of June, 15th-16th night, wherein there was a check patrol which went under the CO, Colonel Babu, who went over there to verify whether the orders and what had transpired between the two co-commanders at that level, whether that was being adhered to or being followed or not. Line of control that is there in the Galwan area, so basically the Chinese, they perceive it up to finger 4, whereas the Indian side, we consider it up to finger 8 that is there. And basically over the period of time, the patrols have been crossing each other and all that. And as per the SOPs that is there, the normal procedures were followed. It was just that we used to tell them that you go back, and there were basically other procedures that are involved in when you clash with any enemy patrol. So you request them, and then generally it's sorted out there and then the people go back over there, because that's basically been followed all throughout the years that is there. But this particular time, when they were told to go back a couple of kilometers, 2 kilometers back to the LAC, and that is when the corps commanders in that area, they had met. It was decided that they'll fall back to basically to do away with all the rigmarole that was involved. So they, this patrol of Colonel Babu, initially about I think 30 people were there. They went to that area to basically to check whether the Chinese have fallen back to their designated areas. And there it was seen that a couple of tents were still there, though the Chinese, they had fallen back, but the tents were still there. So they had requested then that the tents be uprooted and taken back. And that was when we are told that there was a skirmish over there, and one of the tents was damaged and taken down. And that's when people got a little bit frisky, and they had hand battle over there. So basically it was a combative thing over there. And that's when the CO and 2 boys lost their lives in that skirmish. How exactly, of course, we all know that they came with clubs and rods and sticks and stones.
So did that signify that it was a pre-planned attack?
Definitely it was. Definitely it was. Because they had come prepared, because anybody carrying batons studded with nails. And also we were told that they had these rubber suits with them. So they were prepared just in case, like they had to swim across and fall into the river and all that. So they were prepared, at least mentally and physically they were prepared for that. Whereas we were not prepared in such for such avenues. And thereafter, when this thing happened, and when the boys over there radioed back to the headquarters telling them the CO is down, so then that's when the Ghatak platoon, I think, was activated from there. And as you are aware, the Ghatak is basically it's a specialized sort of force that is there. And it basically their training is at par with the parachute regiment and the special forces that is there. So they are trained in such a way to basically operate in small groups. That's when this party came in and then hammered the daylights out of these Chinese that were there. And that's when also when the Chinese reinforcements also came in. So we are told that we were about 200, 300 odd soldiers, and they were about some 1,200 soldiers that were there. So in that skirmish that was there, all these injuries and all took place. This patrol was a mixed patrol. There were people from the Punjab regiment, there were people from the artillery who were basically acting as OPs. So basically in case some artillery shoot or something is required, then these RTOPs basically they help out in the areas over there. And that's where they lost. We bought, I think, 3 boys from Punjab were there, 13 were from 16 Bihar, 1 was from 12 Bihar, and then there were some signal deaths and all that. The total was about 20 boys that we lost in that skirmish.
So the retaliatory attack that happened from Indian side was majorly done by the Bihar regiment boys.
Mostly by the Bihar regiment. Mostly
So
by
now everybody is talking about the valor of Bihar
Absolutely,
regiment.
absolutely.
You are a Bihar regiment veteran.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tell me something about what drove or what drives the
Correct,
Bihar
correct.
regiment soldiers. What is so special about this?
See, firstly, the Bihar regiment has a long history. If you remember, you take your minds back to Kargil. There was first Bihar deployed over there, and they took that, I think, point 4268 was 1 point, if I remember correctly, and Jubar Hill. Jubar Hill was one over there, and we got that Kargil battle honor also over there. And basically, what has happened is, see, once when your CO goes down, then nothing can stop you. It's like the demon which has gone into you. And whatever you have with you, whether you have weapons, don't have
become
weapons,
possessed.
exactly, you become so possessed with that demon, and you really go all out over there. And that's exactly what happened over there. So we may not be carrying weapons. That of course is not very clear whether they had weapons or not. But whatever was there available with them, sticks, stones, whatever was there, and they really like, and the Ghatak platoon with their training and all that, really like they hammered these guys, whatever came in between over there.
Indian Army is generally known for the valor of the Sikhs, the Jats, the Gorkhas, and
Yeah,
now we
yeah.
have the Bihar regiment suddenly taking center stage today. So how does it feel that?
Oh, I'm filled with pride. Bihar regiment, not that Bihar regiment has not been doing well. It has been doing well. We got about 3 battle honors. Though we were raised pretty late, post independence, basically Bihar regiment took up. Earlier we were during the East Indian Company, during that time in 1757, the first Bihar regiment was raised. But then later on we took up, basically in 48 was the first battalion that was raised. And thereafter we have now about 21 Bihar battalions are there. We have 4 Rashtriya Rifle battalions that are there with us.
Was involved in the anti-insurgency operations.
Anti-insurgency, or basically deployed in Jammu and Kashmir. And then we have 2 territorial army units also. So all these units have done exceptionally well. Besides that, we have been deployed in the UN missions that is there. In Congo, first Bihar had gone there, second Bihar had gone to I think Mogadishu, I think they had gone. So in UN also they earned a good name over there. So basically, though they may be docile, because basically our troops consist of the Ahirs of Bihar and the Adivasis from Jharkhand.
Okay.
So basically we have, though our center is in Danapur,
Mhm.
that's close to Patna, which has got a very old history over there. The Ara barracks, you must have the 1857 revolt basically started from the Ara barracks over there. So basically we are quite a martial comb that is there in us. And even outside the fighting and all that is there, we've done exceptionally well in all these courses that are there, the army courses that are there, whether it's a commando course or any other weapon course. We have, in all these units and formations, we have various competitions that are there. Whether it is a physical competition, that is BPET competition, running, HUD race, cross country, or you have firing, shooting competition, and various games and all that. And we are at par with most of the parachute regiment battalions that are there in these areas. And we have also won Div honors and Corps honors, whether we had the Jat troops over there, the Gorkhas we had, or the Punjab troops over there, we were at par with them as far as all this physical endurance and all was concerned.
So now, going ahead, what should be our strategy as far as the Ladakh, Arunachal, all this entire eastern sector is concerned?
Yeah,
China,
see.
can we have we been complacent, and should we not take China threat more seriously?
See, that basically, Shashwat, is basically it's a diplomatic and a political decision, they say, because basically the army revolves around the decisions and the orders coming right from the Prime Minister's office and of course the Ministry of Defence. So basically we as combatants over there are, rest assured, given a task that is there, whether we have to sit on a particular height, defend that particular area, or capture a particular height or an area or a locality that is there, that we will do. There is no going back on that. Now, whether what is happening over there is correct or is wrong, I think that is more related to diplomacy and to political this thing that is there.
But as a security specialist, as a veteran, do you see that we need to be more have an aggressive stance as far as China is concerned in comparison? We are too besieged with Pakistan, but we are ignoring China?
No, not really. Not really. Why? Because when we have our deployment and our Indian Army that is there, and the armed forces that is there, whether it's the Navy, the Air Force or the Army that is there, we are always, our strategy is always based on the two-war scenario, two-war front scenario that is there. So whether it is the East or the North, whether it is Pakistan or it is China, we have our formations deployed specifically for that particular area of operations that is there. So whether it is the Corps and its ADS and NETs that are there, or it's the command that is there, they are adequately prepared to fight at two fronts that is there simultaneously.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful insight. It's always special interacting with you.
Yeah.
So, as you all heard, our own Goan brave son, Lieutenant Colonel Colasso, being from the valiant Bihar Regiment and an ex-instructor of the High Altitude Warfare School in Sonamarg in Kashmir, instrumental in training our soldiers to fight in Siachen Glacier and the high altitude of Ladakh and Kashmir, has categorically said that Indian Army is well prepared to take on both Pakistan and China on the eastern and the western front simultaneously, and we have our soldiers who are really equipped and valiant enough, like our great soldiers from the Bihar Regiment, who can give a bloody nose to the enemy at any given time.
Right.
Thank you for being with us. This is Shashwat Guptare with my colleague Anvesha Ghosh for Uncovering India.
Thank you.